you are tearing down your engine faster than you think. Today we reveal 15 starting habits that are fatal for your engine. And stay to see the last one because it's the silent killer almost nobody talks about. Number 1. Revving immediately after startup. Slamming the gas pedal right after turning the key is one of the worst things you can do to an engine. Cold oil hasn't had time to circulate, so parts like pistons, bearings, and camshafts grind together with minimal lubrication. This leads to accelerated wear, scoring, and even long-term engine damage. Engines are designed to warm up gradually. Giving it a few seconds to stabilize before driving keeps oil pressure steady and ensures proper protection from the start. The next habit happens before you even leave the driveway, and it's one that slowly drains your battery while putting extra stress on your starter. Number 2. Cranking too long. Holding the key or push start button for more than 10 seconds strains the starter motor and overheats the wiring. If the engine doesn't fire right away, forcing it only increases wear and risks draining the battery completely. The proper method is to stop, wait a few seconds, and then try again. Persistent hard starts usually point to fuel or ignition issues, not something solved by grinding the starter endlessly. The next mistake might seem harmless, but resting your foot on the gas pedal during startup can cause problems that snowball over time. Number 3. Pressing the gas pedal while starting. Older carbureted cars sometimes required a little throttle to start, but modern fuel-injected engines do not. Pressing the pedal floods the combustion chamber with fuel, washing away vital oil film on cylinder walls and causing rough starts. It also confuses the ECU, which is calibrated to manage air and fuel automatically during startup. Over time, this habit can damage spark plugs, reduce fuel efficiency, and shorten engine life. Our next habit is one many drivers overlook on cold mornings, and it directly impacts how fast oil can reach critical parts. Number 4. Ignoring cold starts. On freezing mornings, turning the key and immediately driving off puts massive strain on your engine. Cold oil is thick and moves slowly, leaving critical parts like the crankshaft and camshafts exposed to friction. Allowing the engine to idle for 30 to 60 seconds helps oil circulate and stabilize pressures before load is applied. Skipping this step repeatedly accelerates wear and shortens engine life significantly. The next mistake has nothing to do with temperature. It's about the weight you leave hanging from your ignition every single day. Number 5. Heavy keychains in the ignition. A bulky set of keys hanging from the ignition may seem harmless, but over time, the weight puts stress on the ignition switch. The constant tugging and bouncing while driving can wear out the tumblers and even cause electrical contact issues. This not only makes starting harder, but can also lead to sudden stalling while driving, which is dangerous. Keeping your ignition key separate from the rest of your keys prevents expensive repairs down the road. The next bad habit happens in garages and tight spaces, where short start and stop cycles quietly damage your engine. Number 6. Short start and stop cycles. Starting your car just to move it a few feet and then shutting it off is far harsher on the engine than most people realize. The oil never reaches proper operating temperature, which allows moisture and unburned fuel to build up inside the crankcase. Do this repeatedly and sludge forms while key components wear faster from diluted oil. If you must move your car short distances, let it run for several minutes to burn off contaminants before shutting it down. Our next habit happens more in winter, when drivers think warming up their car for too long is good, but it actually backfires on the engine. Number 7. Over-idling to warm up. Letting your car idle for 15 to 20 minutes on cold mornings feels safe, but it's actually harmful. Extended idling causes incomplete combustion, leading to carbon buildup on valves and spark plugs. It also wastes fuel and thins the protective oil film as the engine runs without proper load. Modern engines warm up faster and more efficiently by being driven gently within the first few minutes. A short idle to circulate oil is fine, but long idling sessions slowly rob your engine of efficiency and lifespan. The next mistake creeps in when drivers ignore their dashboard lights. Number 8. Ignoring warning lights at startup. Those brief seconds when your dashboard lights up are a built-in system check. If you start the car without paying attention, you might miss early signs of oil pressure issues, battery weakness, or sensor failures. Catching these warnings at startup can prevent breakdowns and costly repairs later. Ignoring them, on the other hand, often leads to small problems snowballing into major engine damage. damage. Our next bad habit comes from impatience, when drivers shift into gear too quickly after turning the key. Number 9. Shifting into gear too quickly. Throwing your car into drive or reverse immediately after starting puts unnecessary strain on the transmission. The fluid hasn't had time to build proper pressure, which means clutches and gears engage harshly. Doing this repeatedly wears out transmission components prematurely and can lead to slipping or delayed shifts later. Waiting just a few seconds before selecting a gear gives the system time to stabilize. The next mistake seems small, but is one of the fastest ways to drain your battery and shorten starter life. Number 10. Starting with accessories on. Leaving the radio, AC, seat heaters, or lights switched on during startup forces the battery to power everything at once. This reduces the voltage available to the starter and ECU, making the engine crank harder and stressing the electrical system. Over time, the added strain shortens both battery and alternator life. The smart habit is to switch accessories off before shutting down, so the next start is clean and easy. Our next habit happens when drivers repeatedly crank their engine after it stalls, which only makes a bad situation worse. Number 11. Repeatedly cranking after stalling. If the engine stalls, forcing the starter over and over can flood the cylinders with fuel and overheat the motor. This habit not only kills the battery faster, but can also burn out the starter itself. The right move is to pause, check for issues like fuel, spark, or sensor warnings, and then attempt a restart calmly. Hammering the ignition won't fix the problem. It only adds another repair bill. The next mistake hides in plain sight, when drivers keep their foot on the brake while turning on their car. Number 12. Starting push-button cars incorrectly. Many drivers keep their foot pressed hard on the brake while repeatedly hitting the start button, confusing the system. This strains the starter circuit and sometimes triggers unnecessary error codes. Modern push-start systems are designed for a quick press with your foot lightly on the brake. Anything more can shorten the life of the starter motor and related electronics. Our next bad habit shows up in extreme weather, where drivers try to start with poor batteries that can't deliver enough current, slowly killing the engine and electrical system. Number 13. Forcing starts with a weak battery. Trying to start the car with a failing battery makes the starter motor struggle and can fry sensitive electronics from voltage drops. Each failed attempt also drains the remaining charge, leaving you stranded. Instead of forcing it, test and replace the battery at the first signs of weakness. Slow cranks, dim lights, or clicking sounds. Preventive replacement costs far less than repairing an overworked starter or alternator. The next mistake often comes from drivers in a rush who immediately slam the steering wheel to full lock right after startup. Number 14. Turning the wheel hard right after startup. Cranking the steering wheel to full lock as soon as the engine fires puts massive stress on the power steering pump. At startup, fluid pressure is not yet fully built, so forcing the system strains seals and hoses. Repeatedly doing this wears out pumps early and can even cause fluid leaks. Waiting a few seconds before making sharp turns lets the system pressurize and prevents costly repairs. Our final bad habit is the most overlooked of them all, because it doesn't involve what you do while starting. It's about what you forget before shutting the car off. Number 15. Forgetting to switch off electronics before shutdown. Leaving headlights, wipers, or the AC running when you turn the car off creates extra load at the very next startup. The starter and battery have to work harder to power both the ignition and all those accessories at once. Over time, this weakens the battery, shortens alternator life, and makes cold starts even harsher. Turning everything off before shutting down ensures the next ignition cycle is smooth and stress-free. These 15 starting habits may seem small, but together they can cut years off your engine's life. The good news is that every one of them is preventable. A few simple changes can keep your engine running stronger for hundreds of thousands of miles. Which of these bad habits have you caught yourself doing? Drop it in the comments, because sharing your experience could help someone else avoid the same mistake. And if this breakdown gave you the tips you needed, hit like, share with a fellow driver, and subscribe for more guides that keep your car alive longer than you ever thought possible.